So in today's video, I wanted to talk about why a nutrient-rich diet is so important in the Paleo AIP protocol world. Because we all talk about it, I've mentioned it a lot, but I wanted to talk about specific things that I wrote down some notes from the book, which I'll link below, as to why we need it so much. And the first point that I wanted to make is that this is very interesting. I don't think I knew this. A nutrient-poor diet is a major risk factor for autoimmune disease. And that was interesting for me because obviously an autoimmune condition, it's definitely something's very out of balance, if you want to look at it that way, right? And if something's very out of balance, we need to bring it back to balance. And if it's missing nutrients, it's missing the building blocks for whatever it needs, if it's missing the key factors for the system to be able to get to the end goal and produce whatever it needs to produce, heal whatever it needs to heal, then we need to give it the key ingredients that it's looking for. So it was interesting for me to hear about it that way, that it's actually a risk factor if your diet is not nutrient dense. So obviously it makes sense, but if you think, yeah, over time a diet that is lacking nutrients, your body's not going to have what it needs in order to function properly. Over time that's going to lead to problems. So something to keep in mind. The immune system, and every system, of course, this is the second point that I wanted to make, requires micronutrients, essential fatty acids, and so many specific things to function properly. So, kind of like I already said, it's funny, we can't expect the body to function properly and to thrive. I'm not just about surviving on this lifetime. I don't just want to survive and get through. I want to thrive. I want to feel amazing. So in order for the body to function that way, we need to give it what it needs. We can't expect the body to function that way if we don't give it, right? It's like expecting your car to drive thousands of miles without any gas. We can't expect our bodies to do that. Point number 3. This is really cool too, and it's kind of obvious, but I think we need to talk about it more. Increased nutrient density equals increased resilience to stress. And we know what a huge factor stress can be when we have an autoimmune condition. And every system will benefit. So I wrote that. We tend to think about only the immune system. We concentrate more on the immune system. Of course, it makes sense if you have an autoimmune condition. But we need to realize they all work together. A change in one system will affect the others. You can't just take one out to the side, do something to that system, and not have it affect every other system in your body. So the increased nutrient density, if you do a proper, very important to emphasize that, a proper approach, which can be slightly different for all of us, of course, but it's just making sure you get what you need. Every system will benefit. And I love that resiliency to stress. Of course, if you have two people, same level of health, if you want to put it that way, one's having a very nutrient poor diet, one's having a very nutrient rich diet, nutrient dense, and they both, let's say it's just a perfect research experiment, that they both put under the same amount of stress, obviously which one is going to be able to handle that stress better? No nutrients in your diet and just crap, or a very nutrient dense diet? It just makes sense, right? And this was really cool too. The need for many micronutrients increases when there's inflammation. In a sense, we know that it makes sense, but I think we forget that. I talk about this all the time, and I forget that if there's inflammation, so it would be like if you're starting from a healthy point, it'll be easier to maybe get to your goal, right? If you're starting with a lot of inflammation, now we need to take care of that, handle that, so the body can heal and even get to a base point, a good foundation from where to build. So when there's inflammation, there's increased need for many things. Even essential fatty acids, they recommend more omega-3s when you have a lot of inflammation. There's so many things that the body needs to be able to get through that when there's increased inflammation. So that's another reason why, I mean, with an autoimmune condition, there's gonna be inflammation. There's no, that's part of part of what's needed for everything to come out of balance and become a little beautiful mess in our bodies. So we need to, oh, that was a beautiful butterfly. We need more micronutrients. We need things to decrease that inflammation. I'll talk about that in other videos. So I wrote 3 things to remember. Variety, which I'm gonna touch upon more in other videos, because they talk about this a lot when it comes to Paleo AIP. You want that variety, and for many reasons, and I'll talk about that. Quantity, so make sure you're getting a good amount of the micronutrients that you need. And then quality, of course, please, as much, I know whatever your budget is, you'll have to figure out what you can handle, but as much as you can of your meats to be, ideally everything, please, if you can, please, please, please. Grass-fed, like good quality, organic, grass-fed, grass-finished meats, wild-caught fish, really, really good quality meats and seafood and that kind of stuff. And then vegetables and fruits, ideally organic. Please do as much as you can for that. And look up the clean 15 and the dirty dozen to see which ones you can do away with not getting organic. But yeah, variety, quantity, and quality, those are huge. And I mean, I think I covered like why it's so important to, but I really want to emphasize is like, never forget, whatever tip anyone gives you on Paleo AIP, please remember about the nutrient density. I know there's delicious recipes for like desserts and things and snacks and all that stuff, but look at the end of the day, and you can have a day, nothing needs to be perfect 100% of the time, but if you go 2-3 days with having a lot of snacks that are not very nutrient dense, a lot of whatever simple meals that are not very nutrient dense, take a step back and realize like, okay, maybe I need to do some little changes in here. And it's okay, we learn as we go. There's no way to get it perfect 100% of the time. I'm learning as I go. That's why I'm gonna make a lot of videos on my journey with this, because it's cool to learn and share and experience and get ideas from you, because I'm curious about your experience and your results and your approach. So, but I wrote, remember about organ meats. I know it's not fun always, but I'll talk more about that in other videos. Seafood, veggies, fruits, high quality meats. Variety, quantity, quality. Please remember that. So much more coming. Hope that helps. Please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone that might benefit from this. If you can, it helps out. Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a beautiful day.